Unexplained death on a 911 call. The mystery of Ruth Price and the odd audio recording. A 911 call. An undisclosed location. A scream. A hang-up. A 30-year murder mystery. Let's put our 911 operator headsets on and take that emergency call. The phone call. As the story goes, a woman named Ruth Price made an incredibly troubling 911 phone call. There's no exact date for when it happened, but the recording is available online. Link to recording at bottom of post. Warning, it's very disturbing to listen to, but hey, it's Halloween month, so get your scary on. To summarize, she says her name is Ruth Price and that she lives alone and is an old lady. Then she tells the 911 operator that a man is prowling around her property. But before any other relevant information can be gleaned, the caller goes quiet. Next come the screams. Horrifying and sickening. Then the line goes dead. It is assumed the man killed the caller while the operator listened helplessly. The internet is full of little mysteries, and this particular one is tragic. Assuming it's true, of course. Just a hoax? Whenever this tale is talked about in internet circles, the discussion quickly finds its way to the question of authenticity. Is this a genuine recording of a 911 call, or is it merely a convincing fake? The largest indicator of hoax is the lack of any tangible information. No one knows where this woman lived. No one knows what exactly happened. No one really knows anything other than that this recording exists. You'd think that given a potential murder took place, that someone, media, armchair detective, police, etc., would have stumbled upon something. But nope. Nada. However, it's entirely possible that this took place pre-internet, which means information would be more difficult to obtain. Someone looking for clues would have had to scour real newspapers like some caveman. Plus, there is some evidence that surfaced which would bake up the pre-internet timing, a training exercise in the 1990s. Training Day. On one Reddit thread, one user claims this audio is the real deal. They said it was played for them in the early 1990s as part of a 911 dispatcher training exercise. The recording was used as an example of how not to take a call. Apparently this, and a few other calls, were the impetus needed to switch operator protocol to immediately asking for location before trying to obtain any other info. Certainly would have helped Ruth. This Redditor, A, was the first to say the woman's last name was Price, and B, claimed that the call came in 1988, backing up the pre-internet theory. This Redditor's story is also backed by another anonymous source, using the name HNDLC3 on a forum called officer.com in June 2002. I've heard this one before. This is the tape that has stuck with me these last few years. It has reminded me not to treat every call as routine. During my dispatcher class, our instructor pointed out how the dispatcher sounded disinterested in this lady's problem. Had she not cut her off from giving her address, the police may have been there sooner. I don't know if the agency had on E/Alley or E911 when this happened, but our instructor said that it took a while to find her, obviously too late. HNDLC3 on officer.com. The real Ruth Price? So this may have taken place before the internet, but that doesn't mean people today can't use the internet to help search. The website findagrave.com has a listing for someone named Ruth Price, B 1905D 1988, in Shady Grove Cemetery in Polk County, Missouri. The date of death certainly correlates to the Redditor who claimed the call came from 1988. And if the Ruth Price in the recording was born in 1905, as the gravestone suggests, then she would have been 80 years old when the incident happened. She did refer to herself as an old lady. Hoax or horror? Let's sum up. Hoax evidence. No known articles of this event. 911 operators handling is terrible. She doesn't ask great questions or try to get the location. She also doesn't say or do anything when the potential murder is literally happening on the call. It's illegal to release a 911 audio that depicts someone dying. Despite it sounding like Ruth dropped the phone, her voice is still somehow clear. Horror evidence. This call is mentioned in an obscure post online way back in 2002 by a former 911 operator, claiming it was used to train dispatchers. Call mentioned later on by a user on Reddit with the same training exercise story, and this person also claimed the woman's last name was Price. Ruth Price find a grave with dates to back up the Redditor. Her speaking pattern and fear both seem genuine, rather than acted out. Or she's just an incredible actor, I guess. I was a canyoneering guide and on a volunteer search and rescue team. One call still has me scratching my head. I took a job guiding canyons in the middle of nowhere, Utah. I guided canyons almost every day of the week and on off days usually ran more canyons as well as responded to search and rescue calls, SAR. One day a seasoned canyoneer spotted multiple items in the bottom of a very difficult canyon that he was doing but that we never guided, too complex. He said it was obviously not natural material and said we should go check it out. So, we did. The fella who reported it could not get to the packs as he was stemming high. If he climbed all the way down to the ground he would have had to climb back out, exerting an enormous amount of effort. Canyon ratings are 1 to 4, AC, IV, and can have an extra numeral, PG-13, R, or X to indicate danger. I can dive deeper into ratings if people like, but this canyon is rated 3B3X, which roughly means it is a technical canyon, requiring stemming technique and rope skills. It might have standing water or pools. It is a full-day canyon and it has moves that if you mess up, you are highly likely to be severely injured, if not worse. In this canyon, those moves are where you must stem between two walls, use opposing pressure, 80 to 90 feet above the ground. This canyon was rarely ever done. The whole season I was up there only one person did it and he was a past guide for us, the experienced canyoneer that told us to go check on it. Even a weekend where we taught a rescue clinic to experienced canyoneers, no one even tried to attempt it. I am saying all this to indicate, it requires a high level of technical skill, quality gear, mental clarity, and grit, as well as you have to be in shape. To top this all off, there was a massive storm a day or two prior. All the canyons around us flash flooded. We had to pull trips and we actually went to the rim of a popular canyon just to watch the water just explode out of one of the slots. The canyon we were responding to is incredibly tight and hands down would have flashed. I have read reports of other SAR teams recovering people and gear from canyon flashes. It is not pretty, and in many of the reports I've read they are buried and cheese grated. The water picks you and your gear up and bounces you like a pinball down the canyon, covering you with debris in the process. So, we gear up and head out to see what is going on in the reported canyon. We have rescue rigs, a SAT phone, as it is out of any kind of service area, and enough food/water and emergency blankets for a few people and us. We decide not to run. Run means to do the full canyon. The canyon as a rescue from within would be highly complicated due to the high stemming, potential swimmer potholes, etc. So, we try to figure out where the old guide stated they spotted them. We rig a rope in a few different locations along the side of the canyon and rappel down into the middle of it. We finally spot them on our third rappel, about a 120-foot drop to the bottom. That was lucky. And this is where it gets wacky. There are 4 to 5 backpacks on the floor of the canyon, partially covered in sand, but not too bad. They are all dry. They are also a popular brand for canyoneering, Imlay Canyon gear, though they are the smallest and cheapest version. It is practically a Jansport pack with ripstop. Too small for a full-day canyon in the middle of nowhere. Not only that, but they're filled with weird things, some emergency blankets, bandanas, a shirt or two. No legit gear other than the backpacks themselves. They are located in a space where my shoulders can touch either side of the canyon, pretty tight but between the necessary harder sections of the canyon. There is a high stem up canyon. Up canyon is not directly up, it is just towards where you started. Down canyon is where you're going, and one much further down canyon after some down climb moves. Most canyoneers climb over this section by stemming between the walls, otherwise they have to climb down and then back up, exerting much more energy, which is why the old guide could not check on the things. We hike a minute or two up canyon. No footprints or anything, but we get to a spot where a tiny fire had been made, right on the canyon floor. Small twigs, tiny branches, nothing big, looks like it was scavenged from what falls into canyon. But a flash flood had piled through days prior. Then we look further up canyon, 10 to 20 feet further is a piton. A piton is climbing protection that essentially looks like a wedge nail. It was once typical traditional protection but now operates more in aid climbing and adventure climbing. It is utilized in canyons when there is nothing to build an anchor off of. This particular spot had no rappel or drop hazard near it, and the piton was placed at waist level and was pounded in all the way to its ring. I have been canyoneering for a decade and climbing for 15 years. The fella I was with had even more experience and we could find absolutely no reason for this. This is when it started getting dark, so we went back to the packs and reascended the rope to the lip of the canyon. We left the packs as they were sand-logged and we were running out of light to go cross-country back to the truck. We report to the sheriff when we return and I check on the forums. Canyoneers, like other groups, have specific websites they log trip reports, accident reports etc., like RopeWiki, Canyoneer Collective, etc. I scour the internet for any reports in the area. Nothing. The sheriff has heard nothing either. Additionally, we were the main adventure pools in town. Folks doing things would usually stop in. Folks who lost things regularly let us know since we ran lots of the local canyons. We would regularly keep an eye out for a cell phone, Nalgene water bottle, or rope that folks may have lost. No report there either. Absolutely nothing. No idea what happened. To this day, it is one of the oddest things that I cannot put together.